Yo, what's up, guys? Milan dropped more points again today, dropping 2 points to Genoa, drawing them 1-1, guys. What a frustrating game today it was for Milan today, guys. Having difficulty breaking down 17th place Genoa today. It doesn't get more frustrating than it did today. I thought Milan started off the game okay. Had a really good opportunity early on in the game. Bartasaghi chipping a ball. Gabbia heads it, hits the crossbar. A really good start for Milan in that game. And then unfortunately, Milan just didn't have it in them in this game today. They just did not look like they had the legs today. They had the energy. They didn't have any life in them today. It was pretty pathetic to watch in that first half. Not really threatening any opportunities on net other than that opportunity that I mentioned there. Having all this possession and wasting it with absolutely nothing. Milan showing no creativity to break down Genoa's low block. That Genoa is a team that's going to play a low block, as what we've seen all year this year, guys, with smaller clubs this year. Playing a low block, making Milan attack them and try to break them down. And Milan have mightily struggled many times this year against bottom clubs. We have seen that Milan drop many points this season. Obviously, we've seen them drop Cremonese, Pisa, Parma, Sassuolo, and now Genoa. These are games that you cannot be dropping points in. And today, Milan did that again. Like I mentioned, the first half wasn't good enough. You squandered a few opportunities like the Gabbia chance. Milan had another great opportunity where Fofana put in a cross in, but nobody's in the box because Milan do not have a natural number 9 on the field there because Leao and Pulisic are playing up top. So nobody has the striker instinct to attack the middle of the box and put in that cross in. But then, speaking of Fofana, my God, man, my God. I can't believe this player. I thought it was bad enough when he made that run, that solo run, like Teo's run, and then he takes the shot and the ball bounces over his foot. I'm thinking, there can't be anything worse than what I saw with that play there, where he misses that shot there. But to see what I saw today in the box, my God, man, this guy here must be an absolute klutz behind the scenes. I cannot believe how stupid this guy is. I cannot believe it. Leao, in front of the net, is able to poke the ball at Leali, the Genoa keeper. It bounces behind him. Fofana is right there to put it in with his foot. And what does he do as we saw? He tries to head it and slips and misplaces the time. Incredible to me to see what I saw there with Fofana. But even before that play, the goal Milan gives up to Genoa, just pathetic. Gabbia and Fick are too far back in the box. Gabbia slips, and Colombo, ironically enough, a Milan player on loan, is able to get in front of Gabbia because he slightly slips and doesn't defend him properly. Malinowski puts in a great ball because Rabiot bites thinking he's going to shoot. Puts in that cross there as we saw, and it's a beautiful tap in by Colombo. It's a nice goal by the kid. But still, you cannot be giving up a goal like that to Genoa. And the amount of opportunities Milan squandered, not only in the first half, but the second half as well. There's clearly a psychological issue with this team when playing smaller clubs. I've said this in past videos. This performance was just inexcusable to me. Leao just doesn't look himself right now. He doesn't look healthy, even though he scored the 89th minute tying goal with a header off a cross, off the 12th cross that Milan had in the game on a corner kick. Milan had 42 crosses today, and they couldn't bury one until the 12th corner kick of the game. Genoa, give them credit, defended valiantly. They defended incredibly. Every time Milan put in one of those 42 crosses in the game today, a Genoa player got onto it, except for the Leao tying goal. That was a very nice goal for Rafa, even though Rafa had a horrendous game today and doesn't look 100%. There were many times this game today where Rafa's one-on-one and he doesn't take on the defender. That's because he's clearly not 100%. His growing's clearly still bothering him and he's not able to accelerate. That is one issue that we saw today with Leao. Didn't look like himself. I'm not crazy about Leao and Pulisic playing up top together. They're not natural strikers. They're wingers who like to cut in and get the ball and attack. They need a number 9 that can hold up play. I understand that's why they grabbed Füllkrug. He came into the game today. But unfortunately, I don't think a 2-striker formation will work with Milan. They got to play a 3-man attack with Füllkrug up top or Nkunku and Pulisic on the right, Leao on the left. A 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1. You got to figure out something. That's where I got to look at Max Allegri for that. But I do not blame him for the 2 drop points today. Milan had ample opportunities today to score on Genoa. You know, if you cannot break down a 17th place team, you can't be taken seriously to compete for the title. You can't. You know, even Pulisic had a great opportunity with the chip in by Pavlovic there. Leali made a great save when he was coming out the other way. There were great chances for Milan in this game, but time and time again, they wasted too many opportunities in this game today. Wasted possession like crazy. Genoa did nothing in the second half until the 90th minute, where Victor Mori gets completely blown by, you know, and then Bartasaghi, I guess he slips, fouls the Genoa player, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, this kid just ruined, he just costed us. He costed us. You know, the kid has been flawless for Milan this season, and he almost royally screwed Milan. Thank God that Stanchu missed that Igor and skied it over the net. Or else Milan would have had not only their 16-game unbeaten run snapped, even though they extended to 17, I could give 2 flying shits about that streak getting extended. I could care less. They dropped 2 points today against a bottom feeder club, a team that's fighting for relegation to stay alive. Genoa, you know, like I said, they played well today. Give them some credit, but still, Milan, you had an opportunity today to gain more points on Napoli after dropping points yesterday to Verona. You could have kept your place in second, you know, even though you're still in second place by 1 point. You gave Inter a 3-point lead, now a full game lead on you now, you know, with Inter and Napoli as well, playing each other this weekend, and you play Fiorentina. This was a massive opportunity missed today by Milan. And like I said at the beginning, it's a psychological issue. These players do not seem to take these bottom clubs seriously, and that is going to haunt us, and it already has. But at the end of the year, we are going to look back on those 5 games so far that Milan have dropped points on and say to ourselves, that 5 games there so far was the Scudetto. And I'm telling you guys right now, the fact that Milan have done this again to themselves, putting themselves in a situation where you have to try to break down a team and you have difficulty doing it. Listen, Allegri's got to change something, if you ask me, in terms of the attack. Midfield is fine. Defense is fine. Genoa didn't do very much to threaten Milan. But unfortunately, they only had 2 counters and almost bit Milan twice. It bit them once, almost bit them a second time. Allegri's got to find a way to get the attack more creative. You know, like I said, sacrifice a midfielder. Sacrifice a Fofana or a Cheek in the 11. Play Füllkrug or Nkunku on top. He's got to figure out something. Because the way they played today, it's just too flat. It's too stagnant. There were too many times in this game today where they looked disinterested. They didn't look. There was no urgency in their game today. You know, there wasn't that fire to say to themselves, if we win today, we'll have a 3-point lead on Napoli, a point behind Inter. You know, with those 2 playing each other, like I mentioned just now, you beat Fiorentina, you're at the top of the table if Inter and Napoli had tie on Sunday. But this is the problem now. Milan now, regardless of what happens on Sunday, they're going to be in second place unless Napoli beat Inter. So Milan really wasted a golden opportunity tonight, guys, to find a way to stay close to Inter, get more points on Napoli. You know, just some bad performances today. You know, I didn't like Leao's game today, even though he scored, you know, bailed up Milan today with that header. Fofana was pathetic today. That's why Allegri took him out at halftime. Absolutely justified, if you ask me. Salamarcus didn't have a great game today. That's why he came out at one point. Athakami came in later on into the game there. Füllkrug didn't have the best performance today. He's going to need service if he's going to be effective, guys. Füllkrug's going to need service in the box. And that's going to mean Leao and Pulisic playing on the flanks or unless you play Füllkrug with either one or Leao or Pulisic. because Leao and Pulisic don't go in the box and try to get service. They like to get the ball at half field and run up with it. That's their type of game. Fulkrug's the hold-up play guy. With those two there, with Leao and Pulisic, there's no guy in the middle there to bury the opportunities like the one, like I mentioned, with Fofana in the first half. But there were times in this game today where Genoa just looked too comfortable, moving the ball upfield. Defending-wise, they looked too comfortable, making it easy. Milan made it too easy for them, misplacing too many passes, forcing crosses. There were just a lot of frustrating moments in this game today that are going to hurt Milan down the end of the window, at the end of the season, guys, if they do not find a way to have that killer instinct and find a way to bury their chances. Now, it's frustrating because you got a guy like Nkunku who has a brace, then he gets bloody hurt. That's frustrating to see. Jashari didn't get any minutes today. You got a lot of games coming up in the next few days. You got to play Fiorentina on Sunday, then you play Como again on Thursday. 3 games in the span of 10 days, less than 10 days. This is a lot of calcio. Milan's going to be playing their busiest window of the Serie season. Allegri's going to have to rotate guys. Maybe play Jashari on Sunday against Fiorentina. Maybe Ricci gets some minutes because neither of those guys came into the game today. Fofana was pathetic on that opportunity there. Wasn't great in general in the first half before he came out. Cheek didn't do very much either in this game today. A lot of squandered opportunities, a lot of bad performances, all in one game today. Rabiot wasn't amazing today either. Pulisic was probably the most effective player who had the best chances, especially with the offside goal there that, not the offside goal, the goal that was disallowed by Pulisic's hand, unfortunately. Bartosagi put in a great ball to Gabbia there for the cross. Gabbia put in a great flick on there, but unfortunately Pulisic's hand just touches the ball right off the post there. If his hand was just down and hit his shoulder, it's a good goal. Milan win the game 2-1. But unfortunately, guys, we can't look at an offside goal as the reason why Milan dropped 2 points today. There are many reasons why they dropped points today. No killer instinct, just not taking the team seriously, and just not enough creativity in the squad today, guys. I sound like a broken record every time Milan drop points against bottom tier opponents, guys, but it's the same old problems every bloody game. And this team here has to figure it out because right now, Inter look like the clear-cut favorite to win the title. Milan have had many opportunities to be ahead of Inter in the table, and they've blown them. Now, you just say to yourself, do you just go for top 4, which is the goal, of course, because there's just too many opportunities that Milan have squandered, and Inter are just a team that bury teams when they have to, guys, and you've seen it many, many times this year that just Inter have that instinct that Milan don't, and it's frustrating, because Milan have the talent, they have the players, and they're only playing once a bloody week, and to show that kind of effort today was absolutely pathetic to me, guys. Was not a good enough performance today by the team, and the struggles at home. It's incredible to me how much we struggle at home. It's like we're undefeated on the road, but at home, Milan struggle. It's incredible to me. At home should be a fortress for Milan. The San Siro should be a place where teams fear to come to. When they play a big squad, Milan, it's a place to be feared. But when they play a bottom team, it's like a neutral playing ground. It's not good enough by Milan today, guys. Dropped points again today for them against Genoa today, guys. A very, very bad game and a very big missed opportunity by Milan today, guys. We'll love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this game today, guys. So click like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Forza Milan sempre, as always, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Rack Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.